So we're getting 100% there?
Yep, 100% saturation in this area right here where most of the bubbling is occurring. We're going to have to determine exactly where the water breaches are from the outside, allowing water inside. So Rob, what we're going to do is we're going to use this window, Nina's office window, and do negative air. So we're going to have a air scrubber with a pure HEPA filtration filter with a plastic tube. And what that's going to do is start to really minimize those particulates that we got, 6,000 aspergillus counts, and just start to blow it out towards the backyard here. Well, so the area that I'm concerned with the water going in is this back area, right, Rob?
We've got some cracks, and there's a little crack down there too.
Okay. Well, what we typically like doing with the water test is we'll start with the lowest point and then work our way up. So when it does drain, does the water cascade down pretty good? Does it looks like it's got some slope?
Yeah, it's got some good motion, and also there's a drain over there. It seems to work, but sometimes we have to clean it.
Got it. Okay.
But there's a lot of action that happens in that zone right there because the water's kind of consolidating into that from the rain.
Right. I'm wondering if water is holding here because this doesn't look like it has a lot of slope, but. But again, the water test is going to,
Once we do all the demolition down below, we'll kind of be able to trace out a little bit more of how the water's migrating in.
Is this pit here, Rob?
That's the drainage.
Oh, is that where the drainage goes?
Yeah.
Does it pump out or is it just going?
It pumps, and that's the one that kind of fails us every once in a while.
Okay.
I can open it up. You guys want to see it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that water was holding right there. Yeah, that water's coming up right here.
Yeah, this is the drain there that pumps it into that.
And it discharges out
to the street. Goes out that way.
Yeah. Comes out right by where
you know why? Because this is lower, so the gravity's at this level here, so it's going that way. I'm David.
Hi, David.
Nice to meet you.
You guys are twins?
Yes.
Awesome. Not identical though.
We're fraternal, not identical.
Right?
He's a little bit taller than I am.
Yeah, I noticed, yeah.
But yeah, he's a little bit, and our noses are a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
I got the prettier nose.
But I'm still the better looking one.
So how are you feeling, Mina? Is it better? Are you, since you've been out of your office?
It's been chaotic because I have my computer, everything, my life is
It's changed
there.
your life, yeah. Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's been hard because I have to work, and I'm like, oh, what do I have no space in this house because all my kids have different homeschooling.
Yep.
But you know, I'm looking forward to fixing it.
Getting this resolved.
Yeah. And also because this whole discovery came through medical. Like, I never fell, I never saw mold. That's what's shocking. There was never a black mark. It was just like I went to the doctor and I did a CT scan for something else, and they're like, oh, your lungs have this.
Aspergillus, right?
Yeah, they don't know yet what exactly it is, but it's like a fungal thing, and I'm like, fungus, like how? And they're like, have you been to the desert? Have you? I'm like, no, I've been home.
We thought about it. What could be about her environment?
Yeah.
And,
and sure enough, then we're like, well, wait a minute. What if there's mold down there?
And then when we did the test for the whole family, and then like only my daughter came out without it, we're like, okay, maybe we should test the house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No,
Oh, you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hi, Dave. I talked to Mina and Rob right now.
Okay.
We've got water pumping out to the street. Not a lot, but there's enough there. They want us to do a couple air samples upstairs. They're very concerned with the other.
Is she still feeling sick even though she's out of this room?
She's feeling. She didn't really say. She just says that she's super happy that we're here today to resolve it because this has been a massive. This is her office, obviously.
Right.
So it's a massive disruption to her life, and she wants to get back into her regular routine.
Absolutely. All right. So what we're doing right now is we're making a tube out of 6 mil. This is going to be our exhaust tube that's going to go out this window. One of the most important, I would say the most important, other than, obviously heat drying everything out when it comes to mold, is you always want to exhaust all of the particulates, all of the contaminants outside. A HEPA air scrubber is a piece of equipment, which is that right there, is what we're going to be setting up. is something that's utilized to regenerate the air and get all the particulates out. But more importantly, you want to be able to exhaust outside. And that's one of the key components if you're going to get mold out of your home in high concentrations. You want to make sure that your mold remediation company does do a negative air system. That really is the key to get clearance.
All right, I'm going to dam this up here so we can get some water to pull on the side here, because obviously this is our lowest point. So as you can see, the water that's holding it, that allows us to really get to the leak much faster. Again, we don't know how small the breaches are, but we want to start at the lowest point, and that's what I'm doing now. So hopefully by the time we open up, we'll see exactly where that water's coming through. That's my goal and intent anyway, so keep our fingers crossed. Kids are playing hide and go seek with me. All right, so as we can see here, we're building out our venting here for the air scrubber. So that'll blow to the outside right here. So I've got the water running here, Dave. So I tried to get it to pull as much as possible because that bed is right here. So
right
I think right here is going to be our suspect area.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's no signs of cracking, and no, it looks solid. But that, as you know, that doesn't matter. Here's some cracks right here, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I always like to open up,
Yeah.
see where it's coming from, but
How are we doing down there?
we're doing good. We're just finalizing the negative air and
Okay.
getting all that
Sure.
set up, and then we'll start opening up those walls. That's the most exciting part for me when we're dealing with mold and water intrusion and the source. And that's one of the big competitive advantages with us, is that we're not just a mold remediation company. We actually take the time to find out where.
That's what I was telling Nina and them.
Yeah, the challenge of
Then we spray our rapid mold removal agent, and it just white. That's the magic part, is when our agent, when there's black mold that's visible, and we use our rapid mold removal agent, it's amazing how it just sort of sizzles away like magic.
yeah.
All right, here's our termination of our negative air. A lot of air moving out. Here, let me show you my glove. Look at that right there. So those spores are just blowing out of here. So that's what's great about these negative air. It's really starting to filter out that office. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I got my mold air test equipment. We're going to go ahead and perform what we call our outside baseline before I go into the house. So we'll go ahead and do that now. This is a great piece of equipment here. It's an aerosol, it's a biopump. And so it really is a great way to test for mold. So these are aerosols for the pump. And what happens is the mold gets extracted into this vial or aerosol, and then the lab analyzes them. So we're going to do a 5-minute sample. It's set for 5 minutes. Quick sample and start. You can hear the pump. So that's set for 5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes. We always want to kind of test a few feet away from any of the vegetation. And so it's a pretty sunny day. It's a perfect time to do an air test. So we'll let that go. So I have to fill the paperwork out. Sample number, where it was, this will be an outside sample, aerosol, and then what I do is I turn this whole package into the lab, and then they can identify which sample, and then they'll send us or email us a report with the results in 24 to 48 hours. All right, so let's go inside now and perform the indoor air quality test. Okay, well this is all ready for the lab. I'll drop these off at the end of the day.
Okay, great.
And then I'll report back to you guys. All right, I'm gonna go check downstairs and see how they're doing.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Dave and the team has made some pretty awesome progress here. They've got they built a secondary containment there. So that really allows, as we're cutting, it's just an extra added barrier. And also too, look at, we covered all the vents, which is also very important when it comes to mold remediation. Covered the vents on both sides. All the furniture's protected. So we'll cover that up right there, but yeah, this looks good.
Yeah. Looks one of that extra, all the dirty work to be in there and not expose it, even though we're in a room that's sealed with a zipper door. I like having this as an extra protection.
Yep.
We're ready to demo. So we got to get the hazmat suits on, full face, and start rocking and rolling here. So we're ready.
All right, guys. So we'll start removing that base molding first, and then we'll just go all the way across, 12, 18 inches above floor level. I'm going to continue to work on outside as far as the water. If you guys see any water, please notify us right away.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Been about an hour and a half. We're not getting any water down in that basement area. Flooded all of this, the neighbor's yard. So I'm utilizing this crack right here because there might be a breach on the stucco where long-term moisture seeping down, causing that drywall to get wet. It just takes a little bit of moisture over a long period of time to cause long-term moisture content in a structure. Ooh. Ooh, there's a gap right here. This is called an expansion joint. They do this on stucco walls like that, but I could feel a pretty aggressive gap right here. I'm gonna pump water right here to see if it's going down into this room here. So there's a massive hole and I can see water diving down. So let's go down in the basement, and we may have to open up more walls to see this because it's on this side where we opened up. There's water right there. Look at that. Look at that, you guys. So what's happening is, even though this was completely wet, water's coming down here and it's traveling because this is a least resistant path here. It's coming here, and then the drywall is wicking all of this moisture up. Come a little closer here. You can see how much water. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that water, you guys. See how it's starting to travel here? Look, it's starting to hit this corner here. And then it's gonna start making its way this way. This was a big find. Look at the water here. It's coming this way. Look at that, Jim.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at now it's coming here.
Look at the corner.
Look at that. Okay, tell them to stop. Okay, this was a big find.
That's, you know, it's funny because you would think that the water would be coming from this back wall, but David took it upon himself to start working this way, and sure enough, that is the cause.
One thing to consider here is that yes, I pumped way more water than what a typical rain would hit this particular area. But you have to do that in order to activate that leak. So that's why it's important to use that amount of water to find these leaks, because this has been a slow trickle leak, and in order to get to the bottom of those slow migrating leaks, you've got to put a lot of water in these areas here to activate it to get to the source of it. Super, super important when you're doing these types of jobs.
Look, they even have a lot of moisture ants here inside the from the water. I'm going to go ahead and call Rob and bring him and Mina down so we can give them an update.
What happened? You found it?
Yeah.
Yay! Awesome!
Better looking twin found it.
Oh my god, I knew the better looking twin.
Better looking
twin. She could have to get out.
I had my money on the better looking twin.
So once we ruled this out, I came around this side. This is a little suspect area here.
Yeah.
So we injected water here.
Yeah.
Didn't get anything.
Nothing. Okay.
Then we came this way right here, and what I found was this is a stucco expansion joint.
Yeah.
It appears to be but without the flashing. There's some tar material here, but there's a big gap right here. So I injected water right here,
Yeah.
and we started getting water coming down where your desk is.
Yeah.
And then the water started rolling back towards your bedroom area, the bed area.
Oh, wow.
Look at how much water.
Traveled that far?
Oh yeah.
It looks like this was, I don't
It's
know.
like, well, it looks like it was cut for some reason. Again, who knows
Right, how they built it.
why they did what they did.
just needs to be sealed.
Yeah.
Wow, great.
that-
And then you guys don't think so? None of these other areas, you know, some
Like
of these
here, the
suspect
pump is
areas,
not
the
there,
pump.
right?
No, we've been put that water, as you know, we've been running a bunch of water.
Yeah.
That pump's been pumping for the last 45 minutes to an hour,
Yeah.
and there's been no water percolating at all
Okay, good. Good,
from
good,
that
good.
from that
Wow,
bedside.
that's
And nothing
great.
from the garden here, from that area.
Nope. So
Oh, that
the
seems like the
culprit.
Good,
easiest possible patch right there, right?
Easy.
That's so
great.
That's
cool.
good news.
Good one, guys.
Yay!
Yes.
Good news. What's going on here?
Cool. We'll keep moving here, cleaning, and we're gonna put a dehumidifier in there and dry everything out really well. It's on him. It's on him. We'll have the dehumidifier, and then we'll have the air scrubber. You don't really ever want to just have a dehumidifier. A lot of people will just put a dehumidifier, but we're going to actually, because this is a mold job, we're going to use the air scrubber, use the force of the air scrubber, and move it towards this wall. Because the dehumidifier, what it does, you guys, is it extracts the moisture while the air movement. So the air movement pulls the moisture out, the dehumidifier extracts it and pumps it out. So that's the logic behind dehumidification. How's it going, Dave?
Good. Just getting the Puro Cleanse set up.
Yeah, this Puro Cleanse is amazing, you guys. It's a lot of times, like in this case, we won't have to use our rapid mold removal agent just because there's no visible mold. We cut out all the compromised materials, but the Puro Cleanse is a perfect application for this situation because it's really going to decontaminate the entire room, and Dave will explain kind of how it works.
All right, so what this does is the bubbler sits at the bottom and agitates the water, and then in turn gets these pucks here mixing within the water, and then it off gases into the air and really attacks bacteria, mold, all of the virus. I mean, again, amazing product for a wide range of reasons.
And this one puck right here covers about 500 square feet. So super amazing, like with attics and crawl spaces. Nobody can be in the room for 24 hours.
That would be the downside.
Yeah, that's the downside of it. But other than that, it really just removes any VOCs and great for mold jobs. So yeah, we'll show you in action once we place it down in there in the containment.
And we'll put a link down below, so that way if you want to, consider getting something like this, you could do your research. And yeah, we've done over about 1,000 jobs with this, and it's just been
Great results.
a game
Really
changer.
good results.
All right, so let's go inside and I'll show you what it looks like in action.
All right, guys, here's the, gonna get this Puro Cleanse set up here. Now, once I drop it in, we're gonna have to get out of the room pretty quickly. It's pretty intense, completely pet friendly. It's not gonna harm anything. We would never introduce another product that is going to cause a secondary reaction to anybody. So Puro Cleanse is a great way to decontaminate without harming anybody. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this here. I'm going to keep it closed as much as I can because literally it's ready to activate. So I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and put it in, drop it into the water, and you can see what it does. It's going to start. There we go. All right, so this now is going to start to really decontaminate this entire room, and going to be super happy. I know that Rob and Mina are going to see a big difference. So let's go ahead and get out. That was a big find right there.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
really, this episode is really about when you're dealing with mold, very, very important to find that source. Could you imagine if we would have just focused just on the mold remediation and got clearance? She's feeling great, but these next rains,
yeah.
she would have been back to square one. So it was
Yes.
definitely worth the investment for them to hire a company that could locate the leak and mitigate the mold at the same time.
All right, well, another successful story in helping another family. It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. You know, I was working that back there for a while and couldn't find that leak. And Dave, I got to give it to you. That was pretty awesome. That was a big find, and I'm super, super elated. And for Mina and Rob to also express their gratitude is also
fun people.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks to Mina and Rob for being part of the story and the journey as well.
Hey, love to get your feedback on this story. Any information that you could provide us to create better content or any ideas,
Yep.
that would be awesome as well. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. Means a lot to us.
And
We'll see you on the next one.